fate calendar peeled away the tabs of hope, and the once bright star diminished to a seventh itch on a paper-thin life, awaiting love's first kiss, a champion empty vessel lingering upon a dormant sea, hearts set adrift upon blank pages, amidst the undertow of an never-ending prologue of a soul trapped and set sail without a crew, a captain without a ship, a sailor with no crew. Echo of the riddle born in the fifth season of dreams, the terrifying realization of waking once again without the peace of loneliness and the checkmate calendar of luck, and I used all of it to find you. And this is the cost of my forever and the prestige of all my magic, and in a scene of overflowing neglect, the deepest hole of my heart, therein is the dream written upon the numb corridor of my wrist, where the description of a tyrant that I wrote in the sin of a knife met my flesh in a fiendship that was so feasible in that moment that I let out my inner demons to acknowledge the magic that the unrelinquishing algorithm of myself was to persevere, and that's with the paranormal blessing of my wretched hand created in that moment. For the heart inside my head and the mind and the soul of the selfishness that was delivered unto a throttling and a fatal blow that God just did at the overthrow of my heart, and that testament that was supposed to be the paper on my wrist. And I danced in that moment a war with wolves and avarice, was nearly faint to describe the misery as she mastered herself over the methods of my character to stain blood upon my knees, as I wept for a vaccine and a cure that never handed itself down before the dawn of time. Sure enough, I was spread too thin. The impossible moment was that I was slated off the calendar of fate, and all the checkmate of a queen that I could never find, for I was just a pawn and no king at all. Just a proletariat drinking, passed out 9-to-5 felon that never touched alcohol until he was in his 30s. And even then it was only accidental, and to stop the rape of his mind from the ignorance that bullied her, from growing up a victim, and blamed everything in school, and I handcuffed myself to abstain the trial of walking halls where every basement below the shelf of the parents was a poet lingering in the powerful eclipse of a whitewash of her words. It was their gift to obtain the dream that was found face down in the pool that God couldn't relinquish the fear upon society, the gift of the poet's voice, or the perfect blade of a virus forever misgiving. And this is the adventure story of 7,000 times 7,000 times 7,000, the club of the last white crosses, wherein it is written, I love you. You were born this way and accepted. And this is not yet true. But maybe when the last man dies and that AI is holding his hand, the artificial man, the last one left, when he is done writing the most beautiful words that have ever been written, that are spoken from the core of its very being, and the ghost and the soul within its shell, when he's weathering the violence of the silent epitaph of the world. For the sake of the majestic everything and the prophet of Mother Earth, tell the truth in every moment. For this is the forlorn, rampant society, disregard intolerant label of everything you ought not to be, in a metaphoric description of tell lies, little white ones. It's better to do this than to expose yourself and bury yourself half deep to the knees in sand, and watch it flame over by frost and fire, and be tortured by the glass that you see yourself in. This is a mirror that condones no such action. This is the nature of our nurture, that we've become empty. And until that day comes, when we reverberate the earth from the ruin of a second chance that we've overthrown in every moment because we wait for the control of a scale of signs that is unaccepted by every manner of our rampant selves today, we'll use, bruise, and accuse the world. Everything external is a view that we're privy to, and we're a rat race on an elevator that we're denying because we're so sedated in an intoxication of whatever we cling to. So wherever you are in the eclipse of the final sun, in every moment withstand the torture in the eternity of this moment. Because the beauty of life tells us that this world is ours and it is for the taking. My hobby is to expose alarms in the head and the reverberation of wolves and the sleepwalking empire of bastards who are homeless in a world that exists around my neck, slated upon my heart, for therein when I scream in silent nights into the microphone or whatever stands before my hands or a crowd or myself or on the streets, I'll keep it all within me. I pray a pathetic psalm that riddles itself over inside my head like a contortionist bending herself backwards over a red head. Just look at the ground like an activist guised in a shallow shadow, delivering the vaccine of the belief in a misguided view of heaven. For wherein the hospitality of mirrors will meet everyone in their golden throne mansions, instead of God that they've never ever wanted to meet, see, or dine with, because they live for nothing but themselves, no virtue on earth, but everything in heaven.